Skeletons of the Marital Closet by Tang. Chapter 1371. As soon as she walked in, Nicole's voice sounded, "Mommy, it's time for breakfast. I've poured milk for you." Her voice was sweet and crisp. She sat down and pinched Nicole's little face. "You also need to drink milk to grow taller." "Yeah, Daddy drinks too. Cheers!" With a normal Nicole, the family was a little more happy. "Daddy and Mommy will take you to the kindergarten today. How about that?" Gale said. Nicole nodded vigorously. "Okay." She could not wait. Gale would have to have a talk with the teacher to make sure that they do not mention the previous things. She could also tell Joshua the good news that Nicole had regained her consciousness. Gale's mood improved a lot. Shawn put a poached egg into her bowl and Gale snorted softly. "You're not going to talk to me anymore?" she asked. "What did you say?" Nicole immediately asked, "Mommy, why are you ignoring Dad?" Gale was speechless. She understood that Shawn was intentionally asking her the question in front of Nicole. He started playing tricks again. It simply made her hard to guard against him. "I didn't ignore him. I was just playing with him," Gale said. "Oh?" Nicole pouted and chewed the toast, then suddenly pointed. "Mommy, what's on your neck? Was it bitten by a mosquito?" Gale was startled and quickly covered it with her hands. "Ah, need to cover it. It was left by Shawn. Now that Nicole has seen it, how would she explain it?" Gale looked at Shawn in a panic. Nicole also looked at Shawn. "Mommy, why, when I ask you, do you look at Daddy?" "Well, because Gale did not know how to answer. Sure enough, Shawn was very calm. It was a mosquito bite. "Mosquitoes!" Nicole was still chewing her toast. "Why would a mosquito bite such a big chunk of Mommy? What a big mosquito!" Nicole tilted her head and thought for a while, with a frightened expression on her face. "Mommy, you still need to plug in the electric mosquito coil. Look, you have been bitten so many times. You need to apply medicine," Nicole warned. Gale gritted her teeth and replied, "Yes, it's such a big mosquito. It's annoying." She reminded him at the time, "Don't leave marks. I can't cover it all up." He should have complied. Nicole asked curiously, "Why don't they bite Daddy?" "He has rough skin and thick flesh, and mosquitoes don't like it at all." Nicole nodded. "Yes, Mommy's skin is fair and tender, which attracts mosquitoes the most." As she said that, she looked at the housekeeper. "Uncle, prepare a bottle of water for Mommy so that she can clean it in the company. Thank you." The housekeeper held back a smile and replied seriously, "Okay, Miss Nicole, I'll go and put the water in her bag." Everyone knew what was happening, but everyone laughed and said nothing. They saw through her but did not tell on her. Gale wished she could bury her face in the plate. Shawn acted normally. The culprit was him. Chapter 1372. Shawn was refreshed now because, after 4 years, he finally got the person he wanted. It was his dream. Therefore, no matter how Gale glared at him, he accepted it frankly. Women should be indulged. After breakfast, Nicole jumped off the dining chair to carry her small school bag. Shawn approached her and whispered, "Gaily, can I bite your neck tonight?" "Not tonight." "Then tomorrow night?" Gale could not say no to him, so she just turned around and left. His deep and hearty laughter came and echoed in the dining room. The housekeeper said, "It's been a long time since I saw Mr. Wood so happy. Madam, it's been a long time since the house has been so harmonious." "Of course, he is happy. He got everything. While talking, Gale carried her work bag, but it felt a little heavy. She opened it and saw a large bottle of water. No wonder it's so heavy. It's a joke if people see it, she muttered. What was the use of water? The bruise could only be eliminated slowly with time. Suddenly, her shoulders lightened while Shawn carried her bag over. I'll help you. He was considerate. Nicole turned into star-eyed. Wow, Daddy's so manly. Gale was speechless. She almost forgot that the normal Nicole was Shawn's number one fan. Shawn was naturally very satisfied with the compliment, not to mention it was from his precious daughter. He bent down and hugged Nicole with one hand. To the school. Shawn was so full of life, no longer cold and ruthless. The woman who humbled him was Gale. The principal was waiting at the door early. As soon as he saw the vehicle approaching, he immediately stepped forward. Mr. Wood, Mrs. Wood. Shawn got out of the car with Nicole in his arms, and Gale followed behind. This way, please. Come down to my office and have a cup of tea, the principal directed. Gale said, Let me send Nicole to the classroom first. You and the principal go first, I will come later. She reached out to take Nicole. Shawn was about to say something, but his phone rang. He moved aside to answer the phone. Gale held Nicole. They were both chatting, full of smiles. Shawn went to deal with the matter at hand first. Mommy, do you want to talk to the principal? Yes. I was very good in kindergarten. I also studied hard and didn't make noise with my classmates, Nicole said. Gale replied, Yes, the teacher praised Nicole every day. You are cute and sensible. Your academic performance is good, and you even got first place in the exam. Nicole's eyes lit up. Chapter 1373. Yes, I'm also very surprised, Mommy. I actually got first place in the exam. It's rare. Nicole nodded vigorously. It means that you are getting better and better. Nicole was still very humbled. My brother's score in history class is higher than mine. It is because his score in the handicraft class is a little lower than I can overtake him. Mommy, you know, brother is stupid. He can't even fold a crane. She looked around but could not find Shawn, so she asked in a low voice, Mommy, when can Daddy know the truth about Joshua? Gale replied, I'll ask Joshua later. Good. Gale took Nicole's little hand and walked to the door of the classroom. She glanced inside. Joshua was sitting by the window, playing with a Rubik's Cube. He fiddled with it a few times casually, and the Rubik's Cube, which was messed up just now, had become neat and tidy. Nicole trotted over. Joshua, Mommy is looking for you. Joshua was quite bored at first, waiting for the class bell to ring. When he heard what Nicole said, he was stunned for 2 seconds. Mommy? Yeah, what's wrong? With that said, Nicole turned around and pointed to the door. Look, Mommy is waiting for you. Go there quickly. Joshua and Gale's eyes met. He asked, You called her Mommy? Nicole looked at him suspiciously. That's right. Don't tell me you don't even know our Mommy anymore. Don't worry, only Mommy is here. Daddy has gone to the principal's office. He... Before she could finish speaking, Joshua stood up suddenly and ran out of the classroom. Big Beauty! He threw himself straight at Gale. What happened? Nicole recognized you, right? Joshua asked. I got the antidote last night. Nicole now is Nicole before. She regained consciousness and is a normal person. Wow! How did you do that? Gale replied. Simply put, your Uncle Aram helped a lot. Joshua looked proud. Look, my vision is right. Uncle Lefting is a man who is responsible and can be relied on with confidence. Darling, marry him with your eyes closed. Here we go again. Nicole was Shawn's number one fan. Joshua was Aram's number one fan. So, the problem arose. The two brothers and sisters each support different people. What should they do? Who would win the fight? Gale shuddered subconsciously. Stop, stop, stop. I didn't come to you to talk about this. I know. It's to tell me the good news that Nicole is better. No, there is one more important thing. Joshua had an expression of indifference. Tell me how important it is. I plan to ask you and Shawn to get to know each other. Joshua, I'm not joking. I'm planning this. Are you not afraid that he will snatch me away? You will be alone and helpless. Joshua folded his arms with a cool look. Don't cry when the time comes. He said cool things, but he actually cared about Gale in his heart. Gale tapped his forehead. Ouch! Joshua covered his hands. It hurts. Okay, stop pretending. Joshua, if he had the ability to, he can make you brothers and sisters like him and stay by his side willingly. I think he has the right to know that he has a son, Gale said. Joshua rubbed his chin, thinking. Gale wanted to laugh a little at such a mature expression at such a young age. Chapter 1374. She asked, What do you think? Do you agree? Uh, fine. Okay. Gale breathed a sigh of relief. After convincing Joshua, she played it by ear and found a suitable time to discuss it with Shawn. However, Gale frowned again. What's the matter, baby? Are you still not happy after I agreed? Could it be that you want me to run over and tell the old man, Hey, I'm your son, are you surprised or not? Joshua said. That's not necessary. I'll communicate with him. So, what are you doing with such a bitter face? Gale squatted down and looked at him pitifully. Joshua, you don't know how your father's temper. It's hard to describe. She started complaining. He has seen you so many times, but he has never known that you are his son. I kept it a secret. He will definitely be angry if I tell him now. No one likes to feel like being kept in the dark. He will definitely be shocked, and the relationship between you and him is not very good. I feel worried when I think about it now. When the time comes, you will recognize each other. When Gale thought about that scene, she felt a little unsettled. The big change is that I can't call him an old man in the future, but I can only call him Dad. Joshua shrugged. It's okay, baby. My heart will always be with you. You are his son. He can do anything to you. But it's going to be miserable. She angered Shawn a few times. It can be said that it was just a small incident, not a big deal. However, keeping the fact that Joshua is Shawn's son is a big deal. Furthermore, everyone knew. Peter, Aram, and even Joe and Summer were aware of it. But Shawn was the only one who did not know. A normal man could not accept this easily. What's more, it was a big devil like Shawn. Gale thought about it and sighed. Joshua, Joshua, what should I do? I'm his son, and you're his wife. Baby, I think you can just apologize and admit your mistake. As long as you bow your head fast enough, the old man won't lose his temper, Joshua said. Shawn would not murder her. However, he has a cold attitude and could say something to hurt her, Joshua suggested. Can you buy a sharp stone? Ah, what do you want these things for? Gale did not understand. Kneel on it. Of course I don't really want you to kneel down on it. Joshua patted her on the shoulder and comforted her. I just want to show you an extremely sincere attitude and show your determination to admit your mistakes. Gale frowned even more. It's so serious. Seriously, think about it differently. If the old man had a child outside, but didn't tell you, and would bring it to you every now and then tell you, how would you feel? Bah, 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 you are my child and his, not someone else's. Gale spat quickly. Let's use an analogy. Was that not Matthew and Mary's situation? Natalie was that illegitimate daughter. Gale held her chin. Joshua, you are the smartest. Help me find a way. Joshua also followed her example, holding his chin and looking at the playground by the door of the classroom. Chapter 1375. I figured it out, Mommy. You came to me say that you want my help, but you secretly want to check if I will be angry with you for wanting to reveal who I am to him. No, no, you are the smartest person in our family, with a wealth of knowledge and great wisdom. You can easily solve any difficulties and turn dangers into safety, Gale denied. Although his expression was disdainful, he smiled. Men love compliments. Let me think about it. When you're angry, how does the old man coax you? Joshua asked. He won't coax me. Shawn is a very boring person, and he doesn't like to talk about anything. He only likes to do it. Even if Gale's displeasure were all on her face, he would not comfort her. Maybe he did not have the word coax in his dictionary. At most, Shawn would apologize and admit his mistake. He will only say, I'm sorry, to Gale. He would also seriously analyze the problem, find out the reason, and occasionally say a few touching words of love. That was it. Are you sure? Haven't coaxed you at all? Not once? Or does he have other ways to make you calm down quickly? Joshua looked at her in disbelief. Another way, Gale remembered. Shawn would make her forgive him by threatening her. For example, he hugged her and did not let go. For another example, he would kiss her until she was out of oxygen. If she were still angry, he would continue to kiss. Joshua looked at her expression and instantly understood. Look, you should already know. Then use his method to deal with him. Gale was speechless. That was not okay. She could not do such shameless things. She is shy. Moreover, Shawn wanted to devour her. If she took the initiative, she might not even get out of bed for 3 days and 3 nights, let alone meet people. Don't hesitate. Whatever it is, as long as it works, do it, Joshua said. Gale sighed. Is this really the only way? Sell her body? That was 100% killer move for Shawn. As long as Gale used it, it would definitely work once. Gale had thought of it a long time ago. If there was really no other way, she could only coax him with her whole being. However, she still wanted to find another way. Why? Gale thought last night was really a waste. She should have kept it for later. Chapter 1376. She just cared about Arum, and it was not like she made any big mistake. She could have kept it as leverage. It was not leverage if she would give it away easily. Okay, let's do this. Go back to class and take care of Nicole. Wait for me to take you back to Temperley Hall. Joshua waved his hand casually. I am fine living with Grandpa. Don't disturb our peaceful world. Sounds romantic. Whatever, as long as you understand what I mean. Joshua shrugged coolly and walked to the classroom. Gale smiled. You are as stubborn as your dad. I know you want to be with Grandpa and you think he's lonely living alone. Joshua paused, but in the end, he still walked into the classroom without looking back. The spitting image of Shawn. Gale stood outside the classroom, watching Joshua and Nicole, paying attention to class. She took out her mobile phone to take a picture of this scene. Then she went to the principal's office. When Gale arrived, Shawn had almost completed his explanation to the principal and was chatting. Shawn looked a little impatient. If it was not for Gale, he probably got up and left long ago. Gale pushed the door open and walked in. Sorry for the long wait. Mrs. Wood, hello, hello. Saying her, Shawn relaxed a little. He got up. Let's go. The principal was taken aback. Gale kept smiling. Principal, we still have work to attend to, so we don't have much time. Sorry, please take care of my child and her friend Joshua. You are too polite. This is what we have to do, Shawn said lightly. You never forget to mention him. Gale secretly pinched him, but still smiled at the principal and said goodbye politely. On the way to the wood group, Gale showed him the photos she had just taken. How is it? Did I take the photos well? Shawn glanced deeply. It's not bad. Perfunctory. You didn't even look at it seriously. Gale pouted. How else do you look at a photo? Did you see clearly? Shawn nodded deeply. Of course, you can take pictures of Nicole, but how can you also take pictures of Joshua? He just glanced at it, and he really saw it. I took pictures of the two of them. Their seats are not far apart, Gale said. We should transfer Joshua to the next class. Tsk, tsk. Why do you constantly cause trouble? Shawn pursed his lips. One day, he would find a way to surpass Joshua's status. Gale was thinking that one day, Shawn would know that Joshua was his son. Chapter 1377. At that time, he would not be so jealous. Their car was parked in a dedicated parking space in the office. Fiona hurriedly ran from the gate, out of breath. Mr. Wood, I was about to call you. Someone is causing trouble. Shawn lowered the car window. Trouble? Yeah, he is holding banners in the hall, crying and shouting. Ask the security to drive him out, or call the police to take him away. The security department can handle such a trivial matter, Shawn said indifferently. But, hmm? Fiona glanced at Gale. The person claims to be your wife's biological father. Matthew? Also, he brought a woman in her 40s with her. This woman claims to be Natalie's mother and also says that Natalie and your wife are half sisters, Fiona added. Shawn's face quickly darkened. Matthew and Heather actually came to the company to riot. Dirty laundry is usually not aired, so how can they have the nerve to make a scene and publicize the matter? There are nearly 1,000 employees in the Wood Group. If the news spreads to hundreds of people, the whole city of City would know about it. I'll go see them. Gale jumped out of the car and quickly ran into the Wood Group. Shawn quickly followed. He looked at Fiona coldly. How can you allow it? I can't handle it, Mr. Wood. That's your wife's father. I'm afraid I'll offend you. If it were someone else, Fiona would have taken care of it long ago. Now I am offended. I was about to ask you to come. Shawn stepped into the company's gate with a cold look. Heather was holding the banner in her hand and shouting, Come and see! Don't miss it when you pass by. Your distinguished Mrs. Wood can do anything to her own sister. She is devoid of humanity, has no morals and relationships, disregards family, is cold-blooded and ruthless, and has no human touch at all. She treats her relatives horribly, but she treats others with more ruthlessness. How can there be such a vicious woman? Come and see her true face. She, Mrs. Wood, is living comfortably and doesn't care about her father and sister's life. She even sent her biological mother to the hospital with anger. Is it great to have money and status? Can you bully people like this? I want to see my daughter now, but I can't see her. Heather spoke with all kinds of exaggerations and kept holding back passers-by who dared to approach her. Everyone avoided her and walked around her, wishing to stay far away. They might lose their jobs. Only Heather was left standing in the middle of the hall, holding the banner in her hand, shouting until her voice was almost hoarse. The security guard was at the side. He wanted to go forward, but was stopped by Matthew. "What are you going to do? If you want to touch her, you can. Just step over my corpse first." If he was really Mrs. Wood's father and they really hurt him, the result would be dire. Step over and step over. At this time, Gale walked in, just in time to hear Matthew. Seeing her appear, Heather's eyes lit up, and she quickly pointed at her. "Everyone, listen and take a look. I didn't wrong her. She is really vicious and has no conscience. She doesn't care about her own father and wishes him to die." Chapter 1378. "This is the first time I've seen such a horrible daughter." In the huge company lobby, Heather's sharp voice echoed. Gale just looked at her with disdain, disgust, and indifference. Although the banner in Heather's hand was not fully unfolded, Gale still saw the words on it, stating, "Gale, return my daughter. That's your sister too. Take them away. Don't let them continue to cause trouble. Do you hear me?" Gale said. She usually has a pleasant face and always smiles when she talks to everyone, but at that moment, she was suddenly very serious and fierce. It could almost be said that she has the aura of Mrs. Wood. The security guards froze for a moment before realizing. "Yes, ma'am." They quickly stepped forward and easily restrained Matthew, and then the rest walked toward Heather. "Don't touch me! Go away! I'm a woman! What are you doing? Do you want to molest me?" Heather resisted. She backed away, waving her hands indiscriminately, talking non-stop. She started to tear at her own clothes in order to avoid the security guard's capture. How indecent! "There are so many tall and burly men bullying me, a powerless woman. What are you tearing my clothes for? Help!" The security guards had never seen such a repulsive woman before. Therefore, for a while, they could not get close to Heather. Gale stared at her. "Heather, I really underestimated you. Also, what kind of woman would be a mistress and give birth to an illegitimate daughter?" "I want to see my daughter. Why won't you let me see Natalie?" Heather roared. "You ignored her for more than 20 years, and now you claim she is your daughter?" "I want to save her. She had a good life before and didn't need me, but now Natalie really needs me, and only I will try my best to find a way to save her. Mary, that bitch, has long since given up on her and gone to you." Gale stepped forward quickly in front of Heather in 2 or 3 steps. Slap. A slap in the face. "You!" Another 2 slaps. Heather was stunned. She stumbled back 2 steps and covered her face. It took a while to barely stand still. "How dare you scold Mary? Keep your mouth clean. It's not as simple as a few slaps if I ever hear it again," Gale said. "You!" When she was about to scold back, Shawn took a step and stood behind Gale. Heather was immediately discouraged and wilted. With Shawn around, how could she offend Gale? Chapter 1379. Shawn spoke deeply, his tone calm and bland. "Next time, just cut off your tongue." Heather trembled in fright. If that came from someone else, she still would not believe it. However, Shawn would definitely do it. "I'm not talking about Mary. She's not even here," Heather blabbered. Gale warned, No matter when, you are not worthy to talk about her. What qualifications do you have? Heather's expression was very dissatisfied, but she did not dare to refute it. In the lobby, it suddenly fell silent. The other employees had disappeared except for the security guard, with Mr. Wood there, who had the guts to watch that. I just want to see Natalie. She should know that I am her mother, Heather said without arrogance. Matthew came over, nodded repeatedly, and said, Yes, yes, Gale, you should take pity on her. Gale glanced at him. You two are teaming up against me? I'm telling the truth. Last time, you instigated Heather to go Mary's ward to make a big fuss, but you didn't succeed. Where did you find the courage today? Shouldn't you be a coward? Gale asked. That time, I. Heather stared at Matthew fiercely, unable to see his hesitation. Heather did not want to worry about what happened before, nor was she in the mood to worry about it. The most important thing now was to save Natalie's life. She tugged at Matthew. This is your daughter. You are her father. What else can she do to you? She can slap me, but she must not hit you. Matthew was a little timid. Gale and he did not have a close relationship. He was worried. If he said something wrong, Shawn might get him. Did you hear me? She can beat and scold me viciously, but if she touches you, it is unfilial and treasonous, Heather urged. What can I say? To see Natalie. Matthew hesitated for a few seconds, then looked at Gale. Well, Gale, we are here this time. It's not that we wanted to make a big fuss. It's been so long and Heather and I haven't seen Natalie, so I feel a little worried. Gale just thought it was funny. You went to the Wood group to spread the family scandal everywhere, and you said it wasn't a big fuss? The fact that she was the daughter of the Yarn family, who disappeared more than 20 years ago, had not made public at all. Even Summer did not know, and Gale had not found the time to tell her. Now, everyone in the Wood group knew that Heather was making such a fuss. Everyone knew she was the daughter of the Yarn family. Her biological father had a woman outside and an illegitimate daughter. Everyone knew Mary had been kept in the dark and was taken advantage of. Heather has no choice. She has never met Natalie before. I don't know if there will be a chance in the future, Matthew said. Gale did not give him a leeway and replied directly. There will be never a chance. Chapter 1380. Gale, let's talk things out. Did Natalie admit her mistake? No. However, Nicole's spell has been undone, Gale said. When Matthew heard it, his eyes lit up. Really? Well, that's great. She's willing to hand over the antidote because she is willing to admit her mistake. Gale, look. Before he finished speaking, Heather directly pushed him away. What? Natalie handed over the antidote? Then why don't you let her go? How else do you want to torture her? What about the poison? In the past 2 days, Heather had been stalking Matthew and finally knew everything. After she found out, she was also terrified. She never expected Natalie to be so courageous. Things have already happened. The most important thing was now to rescue Natalie from Shawn. Gale replied, She never admits her mistake. How is it possible? Then why did she give the antidote? Did you torture her? Is she still alive? The more Heather asked, the more aggressive she became. She was about to pounce on Gale. That's your sister, Gale. You can't even take care of your family. I repeat, I don't have a sister. Mary only has one daughter. Heather screamed. Matthew has 2 daughters. She looked like she was going to eat her. Shawn stood a little forward, protecting Gale by his side. His aura was too powerful, and Heather subconsciously took 2 steps back. Matthew had always been timid and unable to take the responsibility that a man should have. He faltered, wanted to please Shawn and Gale, and wanted to help Heather. His appearance made Gale even more disgusted. How could her biological father be such an irresponsible man? He was not worthy of the well educated and scholarly Mary. Leave. Don't try to save Natalie. Even Aram can't save her, let alone the two of you. She doesn't care about the Yarn family anymore, Gale said expressionlessly. Matthew quickly asked, Arum, is he also trying? Has he not given up yet? Yes, he wants to save Natalie more than the two of you. Arum, that Natalie's fiancé? Where is he? Matthew, why don't you go find him? Heather said. I, Gale interrupted. It's useless to look for him. Matthew, you should do 2 things now. Since we are still related, I will not kill you. She used such heartless words. Matthew's heart skipped a beat. If Gale was really offended, would she just ignore everything and watch the Yard family go bankrupt and ruined? He swallowed. Gale, what 2 things do you want me to do? 1. You and Mary sign the divorce agreement as soon as possible and go through the divorce procedures. 2nd, take Heather and disappear from my eyes forever, and don't let me see you again. Matthew was stunned. Gale was really so heartless. What about Natalie? What about Natalie? Are we leaving her alone? Heather kept asking. Matthew rubbed his hands, not knowing how to answer for a while.